can do anything.
Anything I want, everything I can. Some things you won't.
Do anything.
And I'ma do it till it's right. If time allows, I'ma do that itch twice.
Do anything.
I'ma do it.
Bet on everything.
Watch me prove it. Dream it, believe it, achieve it, be it. The motto, the slogan, the recipe is secret.
Be great, be strong, see fate, live long, be right, be wrong, travel out to Hong Kong, set dates, we bomb, feel hate, be calm, take life, give bomb, see ya man, I'm long gone. And I won't holler till sometime next year. I put my trophies on the wall, hunt the wild, no fear. Had to tell them about my life, so I wrote them all a novel. Keep your mind bright, anything's possible. I wake up and conquer, catch river monsters, I go bonkers. I get the team sponsored, I break beats down, bring the streets
All right.
around.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in and joining us tonight. That was Send That Music, that our intro was sent in by some fans. You can follow them at Architects, and we will have that information and link to their music in the information below. But right now, the man of the hour is Jason Roy. Thank you for being here on the block with us, bro.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yep, hell yeah.
Awesome.
So, but anyway, McCrae, we got going here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, same old with me. Who gives a shit about me? Let's just get down to the nitty gritty of it all. Yeah, exactly. Jason, you're obviously a historian of the game. You're a feedster. You're above a super fan. You're above a casual super fan scum pleb. The super fans.
Yes.
This is the start of the definitions that we really have to start to get down to. I'm so sick of everyone throwing the word super fan out, because super fan should be the peak of like fandom, and like
It used to be like the creme de la creme, and now everyone just says they're a super
oh
fan.
yeah, they've watched every episode. They're super fans. Like, okay, get out of here. But you're the truth. You're 100% that. You are that. Where did that come from? Where did like the fascination with Big Brother start? Can you bring us through the history of what got you into it?
Well, obviously, when reality TV started, that was like a big craze, and my family was watching Survivor. And then when Big Brother came around, I was like, this is my shit. Like, fuck Survivor. I'm not trying to starve. This is my shit. Just people living in a house, backstabbing each other. I remember watching season 1, but I wasn't like into it until season 2 with Dr. Will, and ever since then, like, obsessed. Closet case obsessed. Like, people I went to high school with would have no idea that I was obsessed with reality TV. But once I got out of high school, I was like, listen, chicks, this is what it is. This is what I love.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I think me and Spencer are both kind of that same way too. Closet cases where
Like,
it's like we don't look like the typical Big Brother fans, but you know.
Like I'm the guy that was like talking to people about Big Brother at work. I'm like, "Are you gonna watch Big Brother?" They're like, "Well, we don't watch that." And I'm like, "Dude, you ought to. It's fucking awesome." You know, they're like, "Okay."
So,
But, anyway.
when did you get into the feeds? When did you start kind of getting into the feeds? How did you get into the feeds?
I watch feeds like illegally, someone else like streaming them for the first time in season 11, and then I started buying them season 12 on. Like once I was like grown enough to be like paying and affording them, I was not a 10-year-old watching feeds.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Feeds watcher. Yes, you paid for them yourself.
Yeah.
Classy, my man.
Illegal feeds, they're out there, folks. But if you're gonna buy feeds, get them through hamsterwatch.com. Hamsterwatch. All right, so you love the game. Where does the want to be on the show come from? Like, where does that stem from?
I always thought that it would never even be possible for me to get on the show. So, like, when I first turned 21, I wasn't applying, and I was just thinking, oh, that ain't never gonna happen. And then I sent in a video for season 15 and didn't hear shit back, and I was like, yep, you're right, Jason, this is never gonna happen. So I didn't even send anything for 16.
Okay.
And then they did casting calls in my area for this season, and I was like, fuck it. I can't do self-editing. I don't know what I'm gonna say on a damn tape. Let me just go there and show my ass and hope that it works. And apparently it did.
Do you remember anything you said specifically that you think really kind of got you hooked in there?
I told them that I was the baddest bitch. So that probably set me apart.
Oh, absolutely. That's great.
Well, I wish you'd gotten on Big Brother 15.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was mad when I saw Andy. I said, this guy?
Yeah.
You
That's
like it better than
exactly-
me? Damn.
That's exactly what I said when I saw it.
All right, so you getting through, like, what is your kind of your gimmick? Like, I kind of had a gimmick, Spencer kind of had a gimmick. Did you have like kind of a gimmick when you're going in the casting process, just for like the people that don't really, want to know what to do?
Not really. I think it's funny. Evil Dick did a tweet that wear something stupid around your neck and you can get on Big Brother. I already been to my casting call with my damn pins, but it fucking worked. So wear something stupid around your neck, it might work. But I really went and was just really honest about who I was, and I think that itself is a gimmick. That I live in my mother's basement
Yep.
and I work at a grocery store. That in itself was a gimmick. So
Absolutely.
I didn't really have to play it up because I was just I am a gimmick, I guess.
Yeah, at least you be honest with yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's big.
Whatever works. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the word that you're going on the show. You're a huge fan. You have to start like thinking of a plan. What's kind of your plan? What's your pre-plan going in? And then as soon as you open that door, how does it feel to be in there? And then how does your plan change?
Oh, well, my initial strategy and plan was the Girls Alliance never works. But if you look in BB history, the only time it works is when you have, like, the gay glue. Not that I'm trying to be Bo, but when Bo was there, he kept them chicks together.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking, I'm going to go in there. It's been a while since we've had, like, strong females in the house. I'm hoping there's going to be some strong chicks, and I'll bond them together. The minute I walked in, I was, like, just staring at everyone and thinking, none of these chicks are my kind of chicks. Like, thank God Devon and Meg were there, because the rest of them with their sorority sister stuff, I'm like, oh, these are not my type of girls. So that was pretty much, like, right out the window. And plus, working with James that first week made it like, no, I'm not here for a girls' alliance. I'm here for, like, the alliance with the people I want to work with, like James.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you end up winning the first HOH. Like, where, I mean, Spencer, you might want to fill in here a little bit of the blanks, but I'm kind of curious, like, how does your relationship with James kind of start to develop? How does, like, the side of the house take hold? Because we don't really have the feeds at this point, so what goes on?
Well, within the first hour of me being in the house, Audrey talks game to me and says that I need to win because James has a What Would Jesus Do bracelet, so he's definitely going to come after the gay guy and her. So I'm just like, oh shit, I haven't even talked to this guy yet. Damn, I guess I better win. So that's why I was up there the whole time like, crap, I have to win. And then when I got upstairs with James and had like 5 minutes of discussion with him, I'm like, why were we worried about this? James is like the farthest from that type of person that would do that. So, I mean, that's when the game plan started to come together. And I think within that first hour of us conversating, we knew that we were going to backdoor Jace. I knew that he was never going to be one of my type of people. James knew that as much as he was pretending to have a relationship with him, that it wouldn't work out. And we both knew he had to go. Plus, he's the most annoying person I had ever met in my life.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So with that being said, from the get-go with James, y'all had the plan to backdoor Jace, and it was your noms are going to go up as pawns to lose the battle of the block. I mean, it was all set in place. You'd be dethroned.
I was very okay with either one. I think James would have felt more secure staying up there knowing that he was going to do that because it's early in the game. You're not sure if you can trust each other. I mean, there was even a point where I didn't know if I could trust James that he was not going to backdoor me. But I told my players, go out and play because I'm not throwing a comp for nobody. So I'm not going to tell anyone else to throw a comp. Go friggin' play Becky and Johnny Mac. And we hadn't really seen anyone can compete. So I didn't know whether they were going to tank or be really good at it. And they just happened to be good at it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting, because it seems dangerous to fight to win HOH, knowing and then make the plan that you're going to put people up and get blood on your hands, essentially, then come down, because you don't know what game can happen in the meantime. Because there's lots of conversations going on when there's 16 or in this case 17 people in the house with Julia coming in, and we'll talk about her a little bit more here in a second. But so that week, tell me how your relationships were building, who they were most strong with, what bonds that you built. Obviously, we know you and Devon were tight, but during this week, Audrey's going to doing her thing. So I want you to kind of weave in where Audrey plays into things, because she's going to play a very big role in the next few days that we're going to talk about here soon. But I just want to know kind of where your head was at in relation to everybody else and what bridges and bonds you're trying to build. And which ones were just
Well-
not there? Who are you not connecting with outside of Jace and obviously, I guess, Austin?
Right. Well, even from the initial game conversation with Audrey, I was pretty much working with her from hour one, saying, okay, this girl gave me some advice. I won this to try to keep her safe as well. I'm gonna roll with her. I fell in love with Devon before I could even speak to her, which I know what y'all know what that means.
Absolutely.
And, so I was immediately bonded with her, and James had this connection with Meg, so that's how, like, us four really formed in together, and then we sort of pulled in the side people from that. I think James did too much of pulling people in that week. He let everyone know the plan. He pretty much told me when it came to nominations that I had no one to nominate except Johnny Mac, because he promised everybody else safety, and I was like, well, we actually have to pick 4 people, so I don't know what the hell you expect me to do. I so wanted to put up Shelly that week, but Audrey ran down, told Clay. Clay came up with the whole big speech. Then they sent Shelly up to blink at me with her Princess Diana eyes, and I ended up just saying, okay, fuck it, I'll leave Shelly off the block. Hindsight 2020, I wish we just got Shelly out that first week. I would have rather dealt with Jace. But I think Audrey was definitely roping in people as well, and she's the one who really kept it as a unit.
And you're talking about the High Rollers Alliance, correct?
Right. I mean, we went through so many ridiculous names, and I think the High Rollers is when we finally added Jeff to it. But we were like the Pooper Scoopers. We were like everything ridiculous you could have ever thought of. And then it was the High Rollers once we added Jeff.
Okay. Interesting thing I do want to point out right quick is that you nommed Becky and Johnny Mac, and they being on the block together, winning a battle of the block bonded them, and we're seeing that develop now. So there's so many things that are interesting that threaded from that first week. But go ahead, McCrae.
I was gonna say, what do you think about Audrey starts the game off like with a bang. Essentially, everyone's playing their hearts out. A million years of Big Brother in 1 week. What did you think about that? Because going in, you're like, you have to be like, I've never seen this before. Like, is there any part of that? It
was like, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And she was playing like it was week 7, 8, or 9, and we were only in week 1. And that was easy to see. I think me and Devon had a conversation about it like day 2 or 3, being like, this chick is over the top. She has got her hand in everybody's cookie jars, and we don't even know everyone's damn name yet. Like, how is she talking this much game to everyone?
Yeah.
So when Jace kind of calls her out that first week, and puts her on blast. I did too.
We all did.
That was great. So when he calls her out, where is that in relation to the time that you and Devon had it out with her in the Have Not room?
That is right before. Day-wise, that's probably like day 9, and we had it out day 11.
Day 11,
so,
okay.
Like, we already knew, like, oh, okay, we've already discussed, we don't think, night of day 10, we pretty much rallied the troops, sat outside with everyone, compared stories, saw that she was saying different shit to everybody, and then day 11, it was like, it's going off.
Okay, and Jace is evicted until, like, what, day 13, something like that?
Day 15.
15, okay, so this is well before he goes home. Had veto been played? What day was that veto played?
Yep, I think it was right after the veto meeting, I believe.
Right after the veto meeting, okay.
Jace had just got on the block, and then it was like not even about him. We're all yelling at Audrey.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you a question about that because that's interesting. That really became... Shelly and Clay had so much influence in the game very early on that I don't know how many people were aware of it, but Shelly played this very mama bear type game, okay? Mm-hmm. And once Devon called out Audrey... and you jumped in, Shelly felt bad for Audrey. There was that compassion set in, and that really kind of started that was kind of the beginning of the end, really.
Right.
What I would like to know is this: did Audrey's lies directly affect your game negatively, or did you just think that by calling her out, you could paint a target on her for all the shit she was doing?
There's a garbage man outside. Sorry.
I think she already had a target painted on her, just from everyone comparing stories. But I'm not the type that shies away from confrontation. I'm not going to sit in your face and let you lie to me in a room full of people. And I'm not going to let my girl Devon look like the only crazy one screaming. So I had just as much evidence and ammo, so I'm like, fuck this, I'm going to jump in. And Shelley only felt so bad for Audrey because Audrey laid in bed for 4 days straight. She went into hospice mode. So then everyone was like, oh, poor her, let's bring her food in bed. If she would have acted like a civilized human being for week number 2, that sympathy would have never developed for her.
I think that what Audrey did was absolutely perfect in that situation.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant of her, but it's not in the fiber of my being to act.
yeah, no, absolutely. Okay.
Well,
so
actually, I have a fan question. It's perfect for this week. So, did you ever find out who put the socks in the sink?
No, I so want to know. That was one of the main things that thought us that there must be an America's player, because we're like, what raunch ass put these socks in the sink? Do you know who put the socks in the sink?
No, I don't think anyone does.
God.
We're all still waiting. We want to know. That's great. All right, sorry.
You know how that sink is. It's nasty enough.
God,
it doesn't need laundry.
exactly. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Someone's a lunatic.
Isn't it crazy how nasty the house is?
You know, I always saw the ants every year, and I'm like, damn, they got a lot of ants. Not until you're in there do you realize why there's so many ants. But me, Becky, and Jackie found an ant trail coming from the shower, walking along the bathroom cushions, and all the way to the hallway to the kitchen. We're like, this is a highway. This is not okay.
Yeah. Hey, one of the this is just totally fucking off subject, but one of the craziest fucking things about being in the house is a lot of people will never know what that bathroom smells like the first week or 2 or 3. When 16 people are sharing the downstairs bathroom, especially before the HOH bathroom opens up, it is
foul. And Steve will always change his bathing suit in there. So you walk in and the floor is wet and you're like, why is this wet? What has made this wet? And then you're like, hopefully this was Steve taking his friggin' bathing suit off.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's totally disgusting. All right, well, hey, let's talk on this right quick. The BB takeover was the basically the way to insert a twist into the first couple weeks of this game. The first twist was the Amazing Race twist, where Jeff and Jackie enters the game. Okay, what was the thought process in the game? Because I want to hear this. Jackie was on the block. I know everybody wanted to get Jace out, and it was set. But it would have seemed like a good idea to separate two people that had an outside relationship. I want to hear kind of what you thought about that, since you were in power, and you knew Jackie was going to be on the block. Just kind of what was the thought process of keeping her and Jeff together in the house?
Well, Jeff came groveling at our feet like day 4, before we had really talked with Jackie at all. Then James created some deal with Jackie as a pawn. I was really not a part of that. But I was building a relationship with Jackie more than I was with Jeff. Now, the day Audrey pulled everybody upstairs to talk about Vanessa and woke everybody out of bed, that initial conversation was because she was trying to switch the target from Jace to Jeff. She was trying to get Jeff and Jackie against each other on the block that first week, which is actually a smart decision, like you say. But it was kind of apparent in there that their relationship, we all suspected it was maybe something more. Because why would, out of all the Amazing Race people you could pick, why these two? Are you married? Do you have babies? Did you used to date? Why you two? So we all considered the possibilities, but I think it was apparent that there wasn't that much going on between them other than they used to be Amazing Race partners. So for me, the threat wasn't there of like, sure, let's do Jeff versus Jackie. But I'm sure to a lot of people that was like a blatant, why not split these two up?
Okay. Jackie is feisty. She does have a lot of game. We've kind of seen that. Who did the better job early on of portraying the separation? Was it Jeff or Jackie, or did they both do equal job, which made it more believable?
I would say probably Jeff, but Jackie just stayed away from him completely. So, I mean, it really was both there. Jeff was running the game and just telling Jackie what to do, and Jackie was just sitting back and listening. And it wasn't until Jeff really left that Jackie was like, okay, it's time to actually play.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they had a conversation the night before he left, and it was really interesting. It showed that Jackie was very aware of what was going on in the house. But okay, we're taking the BB takeover to week 2. It's going to be the last laugh. Kathy Griffin, we've got this phone's going to ring. It's going to be 3 votes, which this would have really been a badass twist had it happened when there was 8 voters, something like that.
Exactly.
You know. But when there's everybody in the house is voting nearly, it doesn't really help.
What could have changed that? Made it 5 votes, like nullify 5 or 4, something like
Right.
what makes that better?
Yeah,
Like it's got to be more.
It's got to be
Yeah.
more substantial number than 3.
Yeah, that could really sway something.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, exactly. At that point in the game. But okay, so Shelly and Becky are going HOH. Dave Vaughn, Johnny Mac go up, and Jason and Steve is going to be put up there by Becky. Jason and Steve are going to win Battle of the Block. Johnny Mac's going to win POV, and this is when your girl's in trouble. Davon's going to be on the block against Meg, who you also have a friendship with in the house. Okay, so were you and Meg as close at this point, or are y'all going to get closer next week when you were on the block together?
We're going to get closer next week, but we were close at this point. And especially, I knew the sentiment towards Davon. I knew that even as much as I would have loved Davon to stay, it would have made me a bigger target in the future. So that's why I told Davon, you have to do all the campaigning yourself. I can't stick my neck out for you because I'll be fucked up next week. So
Absolutely.
if you get the votes, I'm happy for you to stay. But I knew that in my long-term game best interest, I was probably better going with Meg. But then again, look at me. I'm out here right now. So who knows? If Davon would have stayed, we could have both still been in it. You never know.
Absolutely.
Can you shed a little bit of light on Davon's fight with Clay? Did you instigate and egg her on a little bit with certain things ever, or was she just, because it seems like if you're working with somebody, you want to be friends with them and have them loyal in the house, sometimes you got to reel them in a little bit and like kind of coach them. Do you regret not coaching her more on some social aspects of the game?
I do. I mean, I don't think that I could really reel her in. Nobody can really reel me in. When I'm going, I'm going. And
Sure,
when Davon's
sure.
going, she's going. And I respect her to have those emotions and feel how she want to feel. So if you want to rash Clay's dumbass, go on ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Audrey was definitely at that point still really in our knit. And she was the reeler in. She was the one saying, I had a fight with Steve in the first couple days before feeds. She reeled me in.
Okay.
She was definitely the one keeping our social games together because we are more abrasive, emotional type of people that are not afraid for confrontation.
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely.
Do you think that you kind of sunk Davon's game by talking about the twins and telling the twin secret?
Possibly, but I think me and Davon did it together. She told me, we really talked about it together. And then, I went to Meg first, and I said, Meg, you're going to think I'm crazy. But I had actually said it the day before about Johnny Mac, because I said, his personality hadn't come out yet. And I said, well, why is he here? He's got to be here for, like, some reason. How the hell did he get here with no personality, not being, like, beautiful? How'd you get here? So I was thinking, you're a twin or something.
Yeah.
And actually, it was when we did the Battle of the Block and he was with Davon. We woke up in the middle of the night for that. And something about Johnny Mac's face looked different. It's the first time that I was ever like, Johnny Mac looks handsome right now. Does he have, like, a handsome version of his twin? Like... But so the very next day when Davon
He was
says the
growing
list
on
thing,
you.
I'm like, you know what? You're onto something. And I think in there, as much as you should be keeping stuff secret and holding it for leverage, you're so damn bored. Even at day 12
exactly.
or whatever.
That's why
Sure.
it seems
How
like
are we not going to gossip
it's
about
such
it?
an innocent slip of the tongue, like it
And
totally
then once you say it, it's out there.
exactly.
It's
It's in the ether.
Well, no, absolutely, and it's one of those things, just like in our season with Alyssa being Rachel's sister. Okay,
Right.
Once it gets said,
once it gets said, it's out there, and
Clicks.
you don't know how the information is going to work. Just like on our season, where a large group of people rallied around Alyssa to use her as a weapon and keep her the first few weeks as MVP, they decided to keep Liz as a number, and you don't know how people can use the information. So, dude,
Now,
it
see,
could have been the best
I
thing.
thought
you did.
that the twins were never going to be able to say that they were. So I'm thinking there's no real way to use this for leverage. They're going to deny.
True,
I know Big
true,
Brother
true.
5, they never, ever hinted to anyone or made an alliance saying, don't worry, but my sister's coming. So I
Absolutely.
never expected the game or the twin twist to be formed that way. But I should have thought of like 15, where the MVP wasn't a secret nomination. It was the house's weaponized Houseguest.
Yeah, again, it was something that literally is just like an innocuous, like kind of throwing it out there, like, hey, well, think about this. Maybe we should go after this thing, And it's like you could never really know which side of the hill the rock was gonna roll on. Just kind of curious though. I thought that was kind of curious how that all shook out.
Jason, I want to know with Dave Vaughn, where on the spectrum? I know that she was tight. Y'all were obviously allies, but where on the ally spectrum was she? Final two, ride or die, or meat shield?
She was final two. I was Danielle Reyeson with her. We were bringing it back to Big Brother 3. I was gonna roll with Davon. I knew it was gonna be hard because we weren't Danielle and Jason who are gonna hide all season. We were the exact opposite of them. So we knew it was gonna be hard, but like our connection, I would not do her dirty. And then my connection with Meg turned out to be the same. She was the final two. I wouldn't have done her dirty. I'm someone who in this game I really was loyal to my word. I wasn't just running around making deals with everyone like all the Sixth Sense people do. This is my group. You know where you stand with me. I'm going to ride with you or you can go home.
Yeah. Now, we're in the part where it's going to be Shelly, Vanessa, as far as, HOHs. So the power is going to stay the same. I want to kind of start asking you right now about this. Okay, obviously, if these two people are alternating power and you're going to be put on the block by Vanessa on her second HOH. Okay, so like there's been a block of HOHs. At this point, it was James, and then Shelly, Vanessa. Where was your relationship with them? Did you kind of stay out of the way? Because the way that Twitter's been talking, this house has been divided in upstairs and downstairs. It was all the Sixth Sense Alliance was upstairs for the first 5 weeks of the game, and everybody else was downstairs. So I want to know about your relationship building with that upstairs crew. Who did you feel the tightest and most safe with?
Well, it is exactly like that. It was them upstairs, us downstairs. I didn't really want to even cultivate relationships with Austin because he just was not my type of person. Honestly, looking back, hindsight, I should have pretended that I liked these damn people, but I couldn't stand him at all. And that obviously had Liz attached to it. I had started to warm up game talk with Vanessa, especially the week that she used the veto on me, but even the week before that, the week she put up Jeff actually had run my name under the bus quite a bit. So as much as he was an ally of mine, I was totally okay sending him home because I knew that he was gonna have somebody else get me at some point. So I was supportive of Vanessa in that week, and I think that sort of created some relationship between us. But really, most of that, my eggs were in Shelly and Clay's basket. I mean, way down the line, me and Meg made a Final Four with them, and we maybe would have been good to that. But they were the main ones out of that group that I was like, okay, I'm going to roll with them because they would have been a meat shield for me being such a pair.
Absolutely.
Sure, no, absolutely. Okay, so we're into week 3 with Gronk. Davon's left. You cast a vote to evict Meg, voting outside of the majority, and Meg stays in the house. Obviously, you said you're going to get closer this next week. Yeah, exactly. Fuck yeah. So you're going to get closer this next week when Austin is going to win HOH with Vanessa. James, Johnny Mack are going to be on the other side. You and Meg go up, but y'all are going to battle the block, so you're safe. What are you going to be doing during this week to further your game for next week? Now that you've got safety, what moves are you making? What relationships are you trying to build during this week 3? Because like you said, you're happy that Jeff is going to go. The veto is going to be Johnny Mac's going to win it, and then Vanessa is going to have this fight with Jeff. Kind of tell me about things out there. Are you feeling like all that is going your way? And I want to interject because I kind of know the answer. I remember you did tell Meg that you're feeling pretty good. That was right when you said you're feeling pretty good in the house? Or is that next week?
That might be the week after that.
Okay.
That week,
all right.
What they don't show is Austin put us up with a poem. Austin put me and Meg up with, like, a poem about funerals. So we were both like, who the fuck is Dr. Seuss? What the hell is this? So we were really mad. What?
Do you remember it? What it was?
Oh, no. Oh, he'll remember it. He said he, like, memorized it his whole life to say it there. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, my. One of those. See you in hell.
So me and Meg
I'm so glad they
pissed.
didn't show it, too.
Exactly. I'm like, because he so wanted to get on that TV. It's probably like what he says when they call his damn wrestling name.
Oh, yeah.
So me and Meg were on fire, and we're thinking, how are you going to put us up? Like Meg said, what are we going to bedazzle a backpack? Like, what did you really expect us to, like, go and beast this comp? I mean, in that moment, it felt like even when I was up against Davon, I felt like I was always plan B. If it doesn't work out, well, then we can always take Jason. So even in that week, I was like, Meg, come on. No one's going to vote you out. If we can't get ourselves off, I am screwed because I'm going to be sitting next to your little ass and on Thursday and I'll be going home. But once we won that Battle of Block, which we thought was going to be, like, impossible for us to do, except James doesn't know any Prince except Camo. He kept being like, what's Paisley? And we were like, we got this. You don't. So after we won that, that was when we were like, okay. The good thing about the Battle of Block, as much as I hate it, is you get to sit all week. You're not worried about being backdoored. You literally, the bad thing about it is because you're sitting all week, you're not playing.
You get complacent.
You're relaxing, you're on vacation, and you're not thinking that I still need to be talking to this one, and this one. You just fall back and think everything's all good. Which, I mean, I was naive in most of the game to do that and think everything's all good. I'm not screwing people over, so they're not screwing me over.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, with Jeff going out, you're fine with that. So, because
Sayonara.
no relationship. Yeah, you're glad to see him go. So this next week is week 4, and again, I'll just refresh you about how it goes, and then I want you to fill in our blanks for us. Liz and Shelly are going to win the HOH. The Battle of the Block is going to be won by Jackie and James, who were put up by Liz. Shelly put up Jason and John. Poor odds. And then, because this pisses me off because of the way the next week turns out, because Vanessa's going to win this power veto and use it on you. So, best friend Van right there. Hey, yeah, girl.
Irony.
Yeah, all right. But Audrey is such a big target this week. She's going to go up and out against John. So, please, like I said, fill in the blanks. You came off a week where you were safe. So, you said that you were probably too complacent that week. So, this week, when you do go up, do some hustle in you because you're going to remain on the block until Vanessa pulls you off. Have you noticed that there's a theme right now of Johnny Mac being against the person that's going to go home?
Yes.
Have you noticed this?
For
Okay.
sure.
Has anybody realized that he's making deals with HOHs for this at this point? Or is it just kind of – because in all honesty, he did win Power Veto 2 weeks in a row. So, like, who could have predicted that? I mean, like, there is some plausible deniability for it. But for the most part, were y'all aware of any kind of deals between Johnny Mac and the Powers?
I don't really think that we thought there was deals happening. Even right before nominations, when I went up with Johnny Mac, Clay came into the bedroom we were locked in, took Johnny Mac aside and had a conversation with him, totally doing the, we're going to have to put you up, blah, 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 blah. Now, I had already known from when he was with Davon that he was a thrower because she dragged his butt all around those cameras.
Yes.
So I was immediately like, oh, hell no. So actually, the minute noms were over, me and Johnny Mac laid on my bed together, and we were just like hanging out, being like, okay, block buddies. And I was like, you're not throwing this, right? Because you may think that everybody else may not notice, but I know that you're going up and you're throwing this. I didn't necessarily think that it was like really hardcore deals being made. I just thought that he was maybe that stupid to just feed these people what they wanted. Which, I mean, he was doing that, but with deals.
Did you feel Johnny Mac was stupid? Just flat out question, all honesty.
No. I didn't talk that much game with Johnny Mac, but Johnny Mac talks like he does in the diary room in groups of people. But if you get up at 7 a.m. when Johnny Mac is the only one awake after that music, I'd go outside for my smoke and Johnny Mac would be on those couches. That's when you could get like intelligent, quiet, game-talking Johnny Mac. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. So me and him did have a working relationship. And apparently that week was the one week they didn't tell him to throw it, thankfully. But it didn't matter because we sucked at breaking pumpkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of smokes, I'd say, how many smokes did you have left? How many days could you have lasted with the smokes that you had? How many cartons did you bring in?
I brought 5 cartons, so 50 packs of cigarettes, which I knew wouldn't be enough because I'm like a pack a day. And in there, you're locked in for a few days, but then you're so bored that you're like, I don't know, I guess it's like 2 packs today because we're just bored as hell. So I left the house with 17 packs of cigarettes. So
Wow.
I could have done worse. I made it 43 days and smoked probably like 43 packs of cigarettes, but I had at least 17 days left in me. I knew going there with that many packs of cigarettes, though, that if I was gonna make it far, I was just gonna have to quit smoking while I was there, and they would probably all vote my annoying ass out. Like, Jason is freaking out about nicotine. Get
You would have
him
been
out.
sucking those patches down. You'd have just been like
Exactly.
grinding them up, putting them in the
Chewing on them.
blender. Yeah, exactly. Just putting them into smoothies, baking them in slop.
You know what, though? I was good. I didn't use them on the days that we were locked in. I remember
really?
Jessie Kulowski. I watched that on feeds. That bitch lost her shit.
Yo,
Like,
you wonder
so-
why there's no smokers on season 16? That's exactly the reason why.
And you know, I even thought that I wasn't gonna get cast because I was a
Yep.
smoker. I was talking to somebody at the spaceship who was a smoker, and I was like, "Oh my god, someone from production smokes! So nice to meet you."
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know
I
who
think I
you're
know
talking about.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. All right, let's get back into the goods of the goods
I
of
want
it
to
all.
say though, that McCrae can verify this. That nicotine fit that Jessie Kowalski threw was that lost her $50,000.
Really?
Yeah.
She would have been final two with anybody if she just.
She was the
if she'd
Victoria.
not- She pissed off.
Absolutely.
She pissed off Amanda, and that's what it was. I mean,
Hey, yeah, in your season, that's the first fatal flaw. You don't piss off
hell
a man.
yeah,
Absolutely.
hell yeah, you kissed that ass. But
Mhm.
anyway, okay,
You kiss that
Audrey.
ass.
Yes, you do.
Audrey's gonna go, and obviously you were happy about this. That was lots of acrimony early in the game with her and Devon and you and all the drama, because Audrey, she kind of played a weird role in that she kept so many things tossed up in the air that the game really had trouble settling. Like, y'all were downstairs kind of thinking things were good, and they weren't. And you know, just kind of the way she kind of kept people on their heels a little bit. And I think that she turned the ankles socially of some of the people downstairs a little bit, and kept them from being in what the Sixth Sense, what ultimately became the Power for various reasons, forming against and around the people downstairs. So let's talk about Vanessa. She uses this veto on you. What kind of conversations did
For
y'all have
4
this week?
cigarettes. Well, we had a 3-part plan. If I'm HOH, Vanessa's good with me. I would have been good to that. If I win a veto and she's up, I'm a saver with the veto. I would have been good to that because I knew I was screwed next to Johnny Mac. There was no way I would have stayed.
Sure.
And 4 cigarettes. I don't know what she wanted the 4 cigarettes for. She only took a drag of mine one time. I mean, Becky smoked more cigarettes in there than she did. So I don't know what the 4 cigarettes were for, but a bitch got 4 cigarettes now.
It's just, maybe
She
was planning-
originally wanted to rope Jackie in with the plan and like ensure her safety with Jackie because she was worried because she got Jeff out the week before that she was worried about Jackie coming back at her. But her and Jackie sort of worked their own deal and left me out of it. I went and groveled at Shelly's feet to make sure that Shelly would okay Vanessa using the veto. And that's when I thought, ooh, maybe I'm good. Maybe I finally have wiped the target off my back. I've been a target every week. I haven't been HOH. Maybe after this week, I'm actually good. So much for that.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, you do have a nice setup. Like any other season, you probably would be good. I feel like. I mean, it seems like you're in a kind of a good position. You're not in the majority of the house. That's the one problem. But I mean, other than that, it's like who knows?
What role do you see yourself filling in the house right now, Jason? Was it the super fan that can like shed light on the subject of like, you know, shed light on possibly upcoming competitions and the way things happened previously and that kind of thing? Was that kind of like the role that you were trying to leverage to be useful in an alliance, or what kind of role were you trying to fill at this point in the game?
I mean, that's pretty much. I was just being myself and acting like myself. But the information I was providing people were not, I'm not so socially savvy that I had all these lies on people or that I was going to plant seeds. I'm not that crafty. So really my main leverage was I can help you. I can tell you what these comps are going to be. I mean, the one that Vanessa won to get me out, I helped her study all night for.
Absolutely.
So like, I was predicting almost every comp all the way through and was trying to help people with that. And I thought that it would be seen more as a positive benefit and not a threat, especially because Steve knows his stuff too, but things that I don't know, Steve would know. Things that Steve didn't know, I would know. So we were like the perfect superfan balance to really know everything.
Yeah, y'all's knowledge base was wide and impressive. Absolutely. I want to kind of rewind just a little bit back, and I want to step back into week 4 for a second because you and Shelly are gonna have a conversation in the have not room once Audrey
Right.
throws your name out and that kind of thing. Um, you know, this is kind of interesting because Shelly's in power. You're going to give her this information, which obviously, like you said, you're feeling like, hey, you've got some ground socially with Shelly. You've got some currency. You told us some information, and Vanessa's going to win the power of veto and save you. Okay, so were you aware of Vanessa and Shelly and Clay working together at this time since Vanessa was able to use this? Or tell me about this.
I knew that Vanessa, Clay, and Shelly were working together for a while. I was in the diary room calling them the human centipede on week 2.
All right.
They loved that too, joking about which one dies first.
Who was the head of that snake?
Centipede.
Who was the head of the centipede? In that moment, I believed that Shelly was the head of the centipede. But even later in the weeks, you start to realize that Vanessa is the brains, and if anything, Shelly is the body, and Clay is the ass.
Well, okay, so Vanessa, like in this previous week, week 3, when she got out Jeff, she was always looking for a reason to put people up. She always acted like, oh, you're basically, I can't help it. I have to do this now. It's what everybody wants, and you've done this, and now I can't trust you. Da, 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 da. So at week 3, was she still believably just kind of in some like? Was she? Most people believe that she was somewhat lost in the game to a point during week 3 in the game, and that she was doing the best she could, and she just had to take out Jeff. She left him no choice. Okay, but you were onto her and Shelly and Clay. So this next week, when you use the information, and Vanessa puts the veto around your neck, saving you, and Audrey goes up. This next week, when you're going to be put on the block, you know how important Shelly and Clay are. Okay, right? So you're aware of all this. How is Austin and Liz staying in your blind spot at this point? Or do you not know that they're working together at all? I mean,
no, I knew they were working together, but I didn't assume that they were really working together with the other 3.
Okay.
So
okay.
I mean, it was the not seeing the big group picture. It really,
Gotcha.
Big Brother is all about form an alliance. You have to have the numbers, blah blah blah. But our season really, it didn't feel that way in there. I'm sure it could feel like that for everyone every season, but it really felt like we were a bunch of little tiny units. There was a pair here, 3 here, 4 here. It never really felt like, oh, there's that big side. So we never really fully recognized like Austin is with Shelly and Clay and Vanessa. I mean, we definitely knew that Vanessa and Austin had a relationship and that Shelly and Clay had a relationship with Vanessa, but it was one of those, it looked like Vanessa was playing with everyone. So you didn't necessarily think that it was like a clear-cut alliance.
Okay. Because that's interesting. Because that was a big alliance, obviously, that was controlling votes, controlling what happened in the House. I want to talk about, since we're on week 5, we've gotten to that point, man. Vanessa and Jackie. With Jackie and HOH, you've got to feel pretty good. But when she starts dealing with Vanessa, kind of tell me when things start really going south, and when James and Liz are going to win the Battle of the Block. Kind of tell me about this week.
Well, from the very beginning of the week, I'm like, yes, the 2 people I helped study, Jackie and Vanessa, are the only 2 that said, what is the comp, Jason? Tell me, can we study it? I went through it. I said, they're going to sing us songs. Let's talk about keywords for these challenges, things that might be in these damn songs. So I was thinking, okay. I was a little nervous when I saw Vanessa won, but I'm thinking, okay, I helped both of these girls. I should be good. And then when we get called upstairs and Vanessa has this whole dark moon bullshit that we're going to backdoor Austin and da-da-da-da-da, which I guess was true in the moment. But with that, I was thinking, oh, okay, we're good. I was like, I am not being a pawn. I am not going to be that person that volunteers to be a pawn. Looking back, maybe I should have, because then I could have been safe all week by winning the Battle of Block with Liz.
Yeah.
But in that moment, you're like, no, not me. Let one of these other 2 do it. Meg's only been up there once, and James, you need to like tie up with me if you think that I'm a pawn before you do. But in that moment, we really were trusting Vanessa. Because of the week before that where I helped her study, it was the week where she was downstairs with the peasants, and she slept in what usually was Clay and Shelly's bed. So with have-nots, there was only 3 people in the purple room, me, Meg, and Vanessa, and that made me feel like we were really bonding with Vanessa, and we were really cultivating a relationship with her, and that's why I felt even more like, okay, she's saying this, we can trust her for this. We're good, which made me complacent for the week as well, thinking, oh, everything's easy. Like, we're just hanging out. I'm going to go outside. Like,
Yes, yes.
I mean,
the,
even
the have-not room. Let me go ahead, McCrae.
I was gonna let you can go on, Spencer.
Okay, sorry. Well, I'd say with the have-not, when people are have-nots, it does allow you to build other relationships.
Absolutely.
If you're a have-not with somebody, it allows you to be in that room and uncomfortable to go through the same things with people that you might not ever have anything to talk about. And being on the outside when those bed mates aren't there or the bedding is swapped up for one reason or another, you do build different relationships. And I was just to point out that if you're watching this, you do play in the house, expect that and plan on building relationships during those have-not weeks. Use it as an advantage instead of a negative
It's
thing.
true. That's where me, James, and Meg really became from being, I mean, we were with Steve too, and he didn't really, but we were really bonded in the have-not room. What do you guys think? Do you think the airplane chairs are worse than the dentist chairs?
I don't know. I don't want to say.
We compared it most to yours. We
Yeah,
said if
it's-
anything, it's most like 15s.
Dude, I would
Absolutely.
give anything to have had dentist chairs.
Ah,
The
see,
airplane chairs, awful.
Well, all right. See, here's my
I
thing.
would like to lay on
Airplane
yours just to see.
Yeah, I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be
Next
like,
time-
oh, ours
next
is so
time-
much worse. Like we had it way tougher. I'm not gonna be that guy.
well, I'll
but
tell
I
you
think
what-
they are very comparable. Both of those seemed miserable, like the most miserable Big Brothers
I'm
ever
like,
done.
I would pay for those ice beds last year.
Yes,
Are you
exactly.
kidding me?
That's
Just
yes.
lay
Exactly.
flat.
Fucking
Oh.
absolutely. Laying flat
And
is
last year they
the
thought
best.
that like it was extra cold because it was the ice room. The have-not
No.
room was cold as shit.
Always
That
cold.
room is always cold.
Always
it was
cold.
cold
Always
when it
cold,
was the
yes.
scrapbook room or whatever they want to call it.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, well, I'll tell you what, you can experience the BB-15 have-not room next time CBS flies your ass out to for the finale on Coach.
Yeah.
So you probably have some back.
Hey, I got upgraded to first class on the way home.
Oh,
Ooh.
hey, look at them.
Oh, you're a
Yeah,
fucking
and I was like,
flyboy.
no, it's okay. And he's like, we have free beer. And I was like, I'm
Yeah,
following
let's
you.
go.
Hello. Thank you.
All right,
That's okay.
I've got a fan question here from McCrae Olson. I wrote this July 27th. Jason, you said that your downfall in this game was knowing too much about it because you helped Vanessa study. Would you agree with that now?
I think it probably was. I knew so much about it in history of it to know there might be twins, there might be America's player. There's all these people are pulling derricks, people are lying about who they are. So I was playing every season of Big Brother in my head while I was in there. Where if I would have been some recruit they found off of a dating website, I would have been like, oh, just hanging out, and it would have been like all fresh. My strategy would have been fresh. But
Absolutely.
instead, I was trying not to make everybody else's mistakes,
Yep.
not play anybody else's game, really just do me, but had so much knowledge that it probably bogged me down. and like I didn't think of, sure, let's approach the twins and use that for leverage. I just thought that's not how this works. It's their job not to tell me.
Yeah.
Where clearly this year it wasn't their job. They friggin' told everyone but me.
Well, I think that kind of leads into our first question here from the actual fans. Let's see. It's this one. This is from Kanye West. Not actual Kanye West. I cannot read his Twitter handle. But he asks, what is the best advice you can give to house guests of future seasons?
Be yourself to get there. Once you're there, continue to be yourself because they didn't cast you to be anybody damn else. And definitely try to cultivate the relationships with people you loathe. There was so many people in there that I couldn't stand for a second of my life. I don't want to see them when this is done. I'm not watching live feeds because I lived with them for too damn long. But I should have just pretended to like these people. I should have just dealt with the Austin smell and just been like, it's okay, he's musky, I'm going to talk to him anyway.
I'll
But
tell you-
instead, I was very forward about, if I don't like you, you're going to know.
I'll tell you this, as weird as I hated a bunch of people for my season, but now I get to host a show with one of the people I hated. No, just kidding. But fucking there's the weirdest thing ever is like this will happen to you is that like those people that you loathe, like you will end up getting in contact with them and you'll hang out on the outside and it is the weirdest thing, but you will
I've
become
talked to
like
them all. I've talked to Jace. I even
Yeah.
sent a Clay a message today, and we had a
Good,
little
good.
exchange
Good,
back.
good.
So it's one of those like we're not competing for money anymore.
Exactly.
Now it's just you're just
Exactly.
someone that I've met,
Yep.
so it doesn't really matter.
You will
but
miss-
it is a little bit like I'm gonna pie you in the face in a year and say, "Oh yeah,
Exactly.
remember you lost because you screwed me a week earlier? Yeah, you should have kept me. That you remember that?"
There's only one person in your season that won't feel that way, you know. Like, there's
Exactly.
only one person that won't feel that way. Everyone else is gonna be so like
Exactly.
butthurt and just
Everybody
yeah.
else, you're losers that went through the same awesome experience. And trust me, dude, by the week of finale, when you're flying back home after finale, people you don't think you want to fucking talk to, y'all are gonna be fucking like texting.
Tight as hell. Yeah.
It's weird. It is weird, but
I
like
don't know
it, you know,
about all.
it fades. It fades. It does fade. I want to kind of bounce back into week 5 before you go home. This is where Clay's going to win the power veto, and you obviously are going to get back to it. You were totally blind. You were totally. Go ahead.
And I say squirrels 400 times. The
Yeah.
minute I looked down and I read that, I'm like, you're fucking kidding me.
suck.
The one I get picked for is the one word I can't say, and I have to say it 50 times. I was mad.
That was funny. Like
It was awesome.
everybody was laughing their asses
Yeah.
off.
Great entertainment. Great entertainment.
But okay, you were truly blindsided when
Yeah.
Vanessa put you up. Now, this is I asked you earlier about Austin and Liz being in your blind spot. Okay, this right here is going to expose it to the rest of the house, and I guess your eyes too. When she went back on this Dark Moon Alliance plan to get Austin out, put you up as the target. I mean, obviously, that was the moment. We told you this on a press interview with you, that like you were the person that could rally the people. What they didn't realize was that by that exposure rallied downstairs.
Exactly.
It just,
Even
it
if
was-
they sent me home, my people were going to rally because the cards were out. They dealt them.
It was like Vanessa. She plays. I'm tweeting this out tonight. She plays too many weeks at a time. You know what I'm saying? And she should have just done. I mean, if she would have gotten Austin out, things would have been a lot
She would have been
different for her.
sailing. She would have been good with all of us. She would have probably still remained good with the other side. She would have been right in the middle, easy peasy.
Absolutely. She would have convinced Liz and Julia that they're better off without him, and Clay and Shelley still would have been coming to her to do a lot of plotting and planning because, in all truth and honesty, they wanted to lay around most of the time and get tickle each other while they let Vanessa play a lot of the game. So she still would have had that. I think that was her big fuck up, and obviously you're probably just fucking loving this week.
Well,
so
why do you
admit
think? Why do you think that
Wait.
Shelley and Clay kind of? I think that they were the ones that kind of turned the game and like, well, everyone kind of wants Austin, but they kind of talked Vanessa out of it. Why do you think?
Steve, yeah, there was.
I have been a target for Shelley since Davon.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, I think my relationship with Davon kept me a target throughout. They were not going to forget that I was someone that was in a verbal argument and that I was someone that was going to fight my ass off in every comp.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was always a threat to them, even if there was no other side that I could have rallied together.
Was it
So
just the
I
easy
think
out then?
It's probably just the easy out. She wasn't going to do Jackie. She couldn't do James. There's no point of doing Meg. So it was just like, well, I guess we'll do Jason. It was bad for Shelley and Clay's game to even try to suggest it because me and Meg had just like signed our souls to them like 3 days earlier and pretty much lied to them and told them, we will get rid of James. We're going to roll with you. James can go by the wayside, which ended up them using against me later.
Well,
but we were selling whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, here, buy it all.
Well, no, absolutely. When there's a showman's and you make a deal with them, I mean, that's, you've got a package deal. That's 2 votes. That's a very good deal to have. And at least in some ways, you would at least on the outside act like you have every intention of upholding that deal, until
Exactly.
otherwise you see fit to break that deal. So you and Meg were really smart to try to roll with Clay and Shelley. So this week you're going to go home, dude. Your campaign strategy against Becky was what?
Lackluster. Was lackluster.
Okay.
I'm so honest. I'm not one of these people that would I did it. We watched Jeff campaign around that house for like 24 hours for 4 days straight, and that's why he didn't get the votes. Granted, he got more votes than I did, so maybe he did something right, but it freaked people out more than it did help him. So I said, I'm going to do like classic old Big Brother. I'm going to try to flip it in the last 20 minutes or so.
Yes.
So, yeah, like I was just going to see last Hail Mary, can I get anyone on my side right before this happens? So,
Yeah.
me and Meg end up coming up with the plan that Shelly responds to paranoia and Clay responds to loyalty. So let's hit them both up and let's hit both those points and see if we can itch at them. Meg got to Clay and Shelly and really worked up the, are you sure this is what you want to do this week? And then she came back to me and said, Jason, there's a possibility. Here are the points you need to chime on. Go there and have a conversation with them. So I really only had one way too long conversation with them because it was just like going in circles. I was like offering to buy them houses and cars and shit. And just because I'm not a super strategic savvy social player that really knew what to say to make them flip. But what I was using was the truth. Becky told me that she was going to go after them and that she was going to go after Steve. So I ended up leaking that to Steve. And I told him, I knew I didn't have the votes. I said, Steve, I know this isn't going to make you vote for me, but just so you know, you can't say I didn't ever do anything for you in this game. You need to watch Becky. I hope.
Which we saw the remnants of tonight, actually.
Yes,
we
yes,
totally
of
saw the
course.
remnants
Yes.
of.
Right, and I was like, oh, who told you that? Oh,
Oh, yeah, I saw that tweet.
This is
Yeah,
where that came
exactly.
from.
Absolutely.
I was hoping that Shelly and Clay would realize that for their game, I was going to be good to them. I would have been on that wall right now, and like the comp would still be going. I mean, if it was me and James up there, I probably would have thrown it to James and say, "You have it. I'll do this next week."
Yeah.
But I would have been up there, and they really would have earned themselves an extra week with me. I really would have taken out Vanessa last week. So it's one of those. Oh, well, you had your chance, and now one of y'all went home a week too early. They were out of everyone. I focused most of my campaigning on just them because I knew it was going to come down to them. I knew I would have my three, meaning James, Meg, and Jackie if I had the votes. So I just needed those two. There was no way I was flipping Austin and Liz. Austin hates me. Liz absolutely loathed me. Johnny Mac obviously has loyalty to Becky, and Steve and Johnny Mac seem like a pair in there. So I was like, well, really, my only option out of all these people are Shelly and Clay.
Yeah.
So I gave it my best shot, but I almost went Audrey's strategy for the first couple days where I said, I'm just going to lay in bed and act like I'm not doing anything. Let these people just think that I'm going to go home happy, and then I'm going to hit them up on Wednesday night and see how it goes. I mean, it didn't go very well.
I think this is like, this is kind of like a thing that, being in the house, it's confusing because, like, Spencer, you're the master of lay low, but the mind wants to naturally be like, well, I got to fight to be here. I don't want to, like, give up. I don't know where my question is going, but at the same time, like, this is something that, like, literally everyone has to deal with, like, because which is the better option? Which way is better?
It's all depending on the house or who you are or who the people that are voting are. And I think that maybe I should have hit the pavement more, but I was thinking that I would have been better off doing the fall back, lay low.
Well, you had a good little
but Becky
mix
was
of
doing
both.
it too, so we both laid low, and then it was like, well, Becky is laying lower, although clearly she's a bigger comp threat than I could be. A bitch runs like 12 miles a day and got hit by a train in the face, so...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, Jason, exactly. People on the outside the house will say, why didn't you do this? Dr. Will would have done this, and old Dan, he'd have called everybody in there. And you're just like, shut the fuck up. No.
If I knew how to throw my own funeral, he would have. But I didn't know, like...
Well, dude, like
James told me to throw a house meeting and throw Becky under the bus. I said, with what? You want me to yell at her for washing towels? What the hell am I going to have a house meeting with Becky about?
Like, you only have so much, like, social currency, and there's only so much you can offer. Some relationships in the house that no matter what you do, you can't build them back, especially weak when you're on the block. It's really hard to build any kind of relationship when you're on the block. As far as, like,
that I can remember that get backdoored after a veto and then can save themselves. I mean, Zach did it last year, but he had a whole alliance that was, like, with him. I didn't have a whole large alliance. So it was like, I knew it if I was up there at that point. What was I gonna do?
Well, let's talk about that. Since we've gotten through you can't campaign against Becky because she's doing the laying low strategy, and you go home. I hate that you're the last week of Battle of the Block. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But I want to talk about a couple things. You just said that you were backdoored. We would like for your input on a Big Brother glossary. Okay.
Backdoor means you don't play in the veto, people.
Backdoor means you don't play in the veto.
A lot of these people think just if you end up there after. No, I hosted the veto comp that got me out.
Yeah.
I hosted my own funeral, which is like the worst backdoor you can get.
Okay. So if you play in the veto at all, and the veto's used, and you go in, you don't consider that being backdoored at all.
That's like a diet backdoor.
Okay.
I like that. That's someone
Well,
wrote.
like-
Note that.
This is the way I look at it. Okay, and I've fought with at Cleo the Leo about this on Twitter, that the back door is a misnomer. Like it's used wrong. If there's a plan by the HOH to get somebody, like right now, it's like Vanessa is being backdoored.
Right.
Okay. Now she will, if she, saying, having the chance to play in the veto, that she, you could say, well, she had a chance to protect herself, or save herself, and she lost. Then she wasn't really backdoored, but you could say you're still shown the back door. You still exit out. That's how I look at it. I look at it as more of a way to leave, more so than like the plan from the HOH.
Right, or just being like, oh, you were the replacement nom. No, you were backdoored. Whether it was an initial plan at the beginning of the week or not, if you find yourself in those seats after the veto is used, I mean, you can't call it a backdoor. But to me, classic BB, old days, like a Nokomis six-finger plan, you're not backdoored unless you host the damn comp and have no friggin' chance.
Yeah, I agree totally with if you aren't able to protect yourself in the veto, that is a true backdoor, really, regardless of the plan or not, because it's almost like it's almost like kicking somebody when you're down if you get them past the point of protection. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
All right, let's
and
hear,
also floater.
Let's hear. Yeah, exactly. Let's
Jason,
hear.
are you a floater?
Am I a floater?
Were you floater?
No, I was never a floater. I was like, this is my group. Fuck all them other bitches. We don't like them. I did my fair share of floating over to Clelly. I went to my fair share of floating over there. But that was really to sort of conjoin a new group and really pull them with us. It wasn't necessarily to just be in their pocket. I told them I'd be their chihuahua, but I would have ended up biting their damn ankles. So
is
to
Meg
me,
a
a floater is Meg's a floater, yeah.
Okay,
Meg, you go to power.
Is Jackie a floater?
No.
Is James a floater?
No.
Okay, so you were basically only aligned with one floater, Meg.
Yeah, I think that the only person in our real group that I could say is a floater and will float, and they know it, is Meg.
Well, okay. Let me. I just want to rewind because I want to put the framework of week 5 up to the point of week 5. Jackie, James, floaters or not?
Jackie's a floater still.
Okay.
James
just
is
has no
not
power.
in. He just has no power, but he could never really be a floater. He's a little bit better at cultivating these relationships with these people, but James was never in anybody's pocket. He was never Austin's pet. He was never anyone's snitch. So I think he's not a real true floater. And even when you float around that house, it's only a floater if you're going to the power. If you're talking to everyone, but they have no power either, you're not really a floater. Or Steve isn't a floater, he's a bottom feeder. He doesn't go to the power, he just eats the dirt off the ground. So
bottom feeder needs to be introduced into the Big Brother vernacular.
Yeah,
absolutely. Bottom feeder's big.
Coaster.
Coaster.
I like the word coaster.
I think there's a difference between bottom feeder, though.
necessarily
I think
for
there's a
Steve.
difference.
Yes, not necessarily for Steve, because a coaster, I think, is someone who's not necessarily going to power. They're cultivating relationships, but they don't really need to do anything because they're not in any kind of danger, and they're smart enough not to do anything.
Right.
I think that a coaster, because people want to say because of Rachel Riley, God love you, that the is so negative. And I don't think it's such a valid strategy.
Oh my God! Shout out June. June invented floating flawlessly.
Absolutely.
Floating is a viable strategy in this game.
Absolutely.
It's for the people that are weak at heart, which I could never be. But it is super viable. I mean, I wish I could have floated. I wish I could have coasted. And a lot of these people this season have really coasted because Battle of the Block makes that easy for those people.
I think there should also be
Becky coasted.
Oh yeah, Coasting City.
Listen, hey, people that play, Nothing's wrong with floating. Be the unsinkable fucking Molly Brown and that motherfucker. Just fucking just buoyant.
You have a point, because look at the first 5 people out my season. We all played.
Yeah,
There's
that's
not a
very
floater
true.
among
Very
us.
true.
A lot of game players your season.
I think there shouldn't be any negative connotations with the term coaster either. Or, I'm saying it here right now, there should be no negative connotations with the word recruit. I don't care, I don't care. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter that people got cast and you didn't and you're a super fan. I'm so sorry. But we need recruits to be manipulated and to be
Imagine
dumb.
the whole season of super fans. First
Laying
off,
low.
we'd be a really ugly bunch.
Yeah.
You need these random chicks that you found at the mall.
Absolutely.
And yeah, as much as it's some of them are there to be manipulated, they find some of these
They figure
people.
shit
I was
out, yeah.
where did you find Audrey? Manipulation boot camp? That bitch was good.
Yeah.
So
She
they
was.
know what they're looking for.
Yep.
So you really can't hate on anyone for
No.
being a recruit. I mean,
No.
on the outside, as a feedster for years, I always sort of was like, oh, this
Yes.
one,
Yes.
this recruit. And in there, you sort of make a joke about it, oh, the Tinder girl.
Yep.
But
Of course.
In the long scheme of the game, and how, even I'm a BBUK watcher, it's about having all different personalities. We just can't put in a bunch of people obsessed with Big Brother, because it
Absolutely.
wouldn't be Big Brother. You need to have the one dumb chick. You need to have the slutty girl.
Yes.
You need to have one of every. You
Yep.
need the tough chick from Denver. You need all of those things.
The
So
tough
sometimes-
chick from Denver.
Yeah,
That
yeah, she's not
demographic.
Denver. Yeah.
Everyone's looking for that demographic.
You need that Denver girl.
Hell yeah. I feel the same way. I feel like Robin Cass has this perfect formula that's
She
this
does.
this is the
So obsessive.
formula for chaos,
Oh my
and let's put it in effect. And then it's up to production to have the twist and blah 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 and let things roll the way they do. And then there's an organic element of people that may be picked. I really wish that, and Jason, you know that when you're going through the process, you take IQ tests, you take lots of different tests, you talk to people.
So
They know
scary.
and some people you're like, this person's crazy. How the fuck did they get in? And you're like, oh, they know this person's crazy, and that's why they got in. You know what I'm saying? So
They knew I was crazy. I wrote in all my papers I love to yell at people. And they were like, oh, okay, let him in.
Well, that, that's one of the things that I really would love that if they would kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and let us know, people's IQs, who's working with who each week that might have this, because they know so much about you. And I'd like to know also maybe kind of like how DVDs used to have deleted scenes and the commentary in the back. I wish
Right.
Robin Cass at the end of the season would do an interview with Julie Chen and be like, yes, we really hope that Austin and Jason would get together and be best friends and blah blah blah. But who
Right.
knows?
They
Who knows?
plan stuff like that. They think these two are gonna hate each other. These two are gonna love each other. That's
Yeah.
why like I said, I fell in love with Devon before I met her. And then they asked
Yeah.
me about people, and I said, "Who is that girl? You have been hiding me from her all week. Where did you find her? I'm obsessed." So I knew we were there for each other. Without each other, both of us probably wouldn't have been there. And I saw James at that as well, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" So I mean. They must have a.
Were those both those people you mentioned during space camp? I'm guessing when
I
they
met
kind of
them on the
well, who do you
spaceship.
when you're on the spaceship they're like, who do you like, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this person, I don't like this person.
I actually said, what am I doing here? The only people I'm more attractive than is this guy with the visor, James, and an old lady that was there. I was like, why am I here? And the only ones I'm better than is the Asian guy and the old lady. What the hell?
I was just going to ask you, was he wearing a camouflage visor?
Yes. And he was
Okay, that's so
wearing a
interesting.
turn down for what shirt?
That's hysterical. Yeah.
That's so
Asian
amazing.
guy.
That is
Yeah,
so
hello,
amazing.
Turn down for
Yeah.
what shirt?
That is so amazing.
Because I wanted to know if they would hide his countryness. You know what I'm saying? So that when your first impression, you hear his voice, would be a shock. So that's interesting because those outfits they pick out, they want you to wear that. So
Right.
that's interesting that they would have exposed him to everybody wearing that. I don't know if that's minor, but that's still kind of interesting. As far as
It is interesting.
that's not
I
what you
read
expect.
into it
Leo.
like he must be country, but now you look at it and you're like, well, obviously he's country. What the hell were you thinking?
Oh, that's so good.
Shit. Well, dude, is there any part of your game, Jason, that we've left out? Is there anything that you want to comment on? I know that there's parts we've left out. There's conversations. There's lies. Let me ask this one question. What lies do you regret believing?
Oh my God, probably every lie I believed. But then again, I think I was really good at telling when people were lying, and I think I learned it most from y'all season. Because when I feeded Andy, sorry Andy Herron, you're a bad at liar. His
Yes,
eyes
he's
would
the
fall
worst.
out of his skull. He'd be like, So I was always like, he's lying. So I think I've learned lots of people's tells for their lying, and that's why, like, in one of the episodes, I'm like, Austin's lying right now. Like, it was really
That was
easy for me to
amazing.
tell
That was
when people were
literally
That was
lying.
awesome.
that was one of the best parts. That was when it like I was like a huge fan of you from very early out, but when
You mentioned that on the podcast.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
put that out.
When you like literally can like analyze Austin and you see and you recognize it, you tell everyone else it. I thought like, holy crap, this is the Terminator. This kid is just absolutely nuts. Like I just thought you were the balls out, and I'd love to see you play again. You know, I honestly think that
Well, I'd
you
be smarter next time.
yeah, I think that you
That's
definitely
for damn
deserve
sure.
another chance. I would love to goddamn see you play again because yeah, I loved watching you. You're so
I'd be
entertaining.
down for it. Everyone keeps asking me. I'm like,
Well,
they can
yes,
call me
of
tomorrow.
course.
I'll go back. They
Yeah.
can call me next year.
Yeah,
I'll go
hell
back. They can call me when I'm
Exactly.
Jerry's age. I'm going back.
That's what I always tell McCrae. I was like, man, from Big Brother All Stars 37, man, I'm gonna be like 84 up in that motherfucker trying to win HOA. But I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be there if they ever call. Shit, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, Jason, what do you have any meet and greets planned? Do you have what do you have going on? Is there anything you want to shout out? Your social media, anything?
I'm super like, I'm just getting back to normal life. I'm going back to stocking groceries. I don't have any meet and greets or anything like that planned. All I have is Twitter. You can follow me at the J Roy. And this is even like the last little podcasty thing that I have set up. So I'm sure like there'll be some more down the line. But as of right now, I'm just chilling, getting drunk with my hookers, and trying to enjoy some time before I go back to work.
I'm so glad you
Hell
just said
yeah.
hookers. Someone wanted you to say squirrels and hookers, so you just
said
Girls and
yeah.
hookers, they are both required.
Yeah. Can
Yeah,
you
you-
say squirrel hookers right quick?
Squirrel hookers.
Right on. So, all right, McCrae, what do you have?
I've got man. I just want to say thank you again. Yeah, and if you ever want to be back, if you ever want to just talk some game with us and just talk about what the
Anytime, man.
I know that it's a whole to do, but we would love it. I've got one final question from a fan here. Let me bring it up here. Again, I can't read your Twitter name. I really fucked up. They're Team Jason, though. So, their question is, who do you think is going to win this season versus who do you want to win this season?
I would be thrilled to see any of my little goblins win. I would love to see James win. I'd love to see Meg win, although that's going to be hard. And I'd love to see Jackie win. But when it really comes down to who I think will win, I really do think Johnny Mac is going to win. I think that if Johnny Mac gets into a Final 3 situation or even a Final 4, he's going to win himself to the Final 2, and then no one will have a good reason not to vote for him because he's really been a nice guy all the way along. He's won comps, and he's actually played socially strategically. So I could definitely see Johnny Mac getting the check, and I would be happy. Well, I'm not in jury, but I'd be happy to sign the check for Johnny Mac.
Absolutely.
Over
Right on.
most of these other dudes.
Well, and you know, Audrey had that dream that Johnny Mac was gonna win.
Oh, she told me that I was gonna win her dream.
Because I wanted to say
I had a
that.
dream that Liz was gonna win, and I told everyone, don't let Liz win. She was being mad ghetto when she won
Well,
my dream.
Audrey told us that she made that bullshit up. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, she knew everything, Miss Freaking Cleo. She
Exactly.
thought that she was a damn psychic. We were like,
Oh,
yeah, whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, hell yeah. Get a fucking crystal ball in her HOH basket. So, oh, shit.
All
Well,
right.
okay. Well, hey, everybody, please go to @ontheblockpod and follow us there. Make sure you subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. We're pushing to get that 5,000 followers. We're going to get them soon. So make sure if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thank you to everybody that's watching overseas. Got some people from Brazil that gave us a shout out. We've got lots of people. It's really kind of cool to be like, whoa. We were joking last time, Jason. We had two views last month in Sudan. So we're like, people in Sudan. Hell yeah,
Damn,
shout out to
Sudan.
Sudan. If you're
Damn,
watching it,
Sudan.
shout out to Sudan. Yeah, Sudan. But anyway, subscribe, follow me at Spencer B. Clausen, and from now on, we will have these game breakdowns with the house guests after the show. Now that we're starting jury, we won't have anybody anytime soon. But from now on, Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Central. That's Monday, Thursday, Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. We will podcast every week. That's going to be our regular schedule, unless McCrae has got his volleyball practice on Saturdays. He can't make
Strikers, baby. Let's do this.
That's right. Yeah. Ace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We really do appreciate it. We want to thank the architects for providing that sample of music. Again, any fans out there, we've been getting some music sent in. So if you've got a band, please send it. It's on the block podcast at gmail.com. On the block podcast at gmail.com. Send us your music along with the little thing saying you're welcome to use this. Give us permission so YouTube doesn't get pissed off at us. And we'd love to play your stuff and give you a shout out. So thank you everybody. And Jason, stay put. McCrae, take us out.
I just want to say thank you again, Jason. It means so much to us to just sit and talk game with another super fan. Oh God, I said it. I said the words. A feedster historian. That's what I want to call you. A feedster historian. That's what you should go in the book says. Thank you. You can all follow him at the J Roy. You see it on the screen. You can follow Spencer at Spencer B. Clausen, and you can follow me at doesn't matter. Fuck all you guys. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time on the block. Take care and bye bye.